I'm Kerry Fink. I'm the Executive Director of Helping Seniors, and welcome to today. We're at we call this the Senior Resource Center of Brevard. We are in the lovely Nautilus Ballroom here at Zon Beachside. They're kind enough to allow us to set up. This is our every last Monday of the month event. And if you've been following along with Helping Seniors, we're a Florida nonprofit, and our mission is to educate and connect you and families of seniors with the resources that will help them manage the aging plan process successfully. And our president, Joe Steckler, talks about this a lot. An aging plan is a lot like a hurricane plan. It's just meaning that you're going to be ready for things that you might wander into as years advance. Just like we don't want a hurricane here where we live in Florida, but we also are smart enough to know that we need to be prepared and take steps, so that we have a plan in mind if they tell us one is coming for us. And we have euphemistically titled the aging plan as our theme for this year. We call it Getting Your Ducks in a Row, because it's a whole lot easier to navigate a problem or trouble area if you've kind of pre-thought how you want to get there. So along the way this year, for example, in the Senior Resource Center, and also actually, to be honest, in the Senior Scene magazine that we publish every month, we've tried to keep consistent with our theme. So along the way, we've talked about legal documents. We had a conversation of 5 legal documents that every senior should make sure that they have available. It is about you, but it's actually, if you love your family, you want to be clear for them so they know how to work with the things the way that you want it to be done. We also had a financial conversation where we had Beth Courtney, who is a financial planner. She came in and gave us 5 tips of things that we should think about. And I loved how she taught us about what she called the zero tax-based strategy for retirement. So again, if you missed any of these, they're all available to you on the helpingseniorsofbrevard.org website. And you can also access them on Facebook or on our YouTube channel, which cleverly enough is also called Helping Seniors of Brevard. So what I wanted to get into, though, was last month we had a conversation about where you choose to live as we get older. A lot of people say, I love my home, this is where I want to be, let me do some steps that are going to make it safe to stay at home. And we covered a lot of safety tips and challenges that do happen as we age at home, and some ideas about how to make that successful. But a lot of people say, hey, the kids are gone, this is where I raised the family, it's just me, it's just the 2 of us, it's just me and the dog, whatever the situation is, that rambling around in a big house may or may not necessarily be the best idea. And so some people say, now's a great time. I could maybe downsize, I could take a look at what my options are about assisted living, independent living. It may be a situation where one spouse is having memory challenges, and maybe there needs to be a conversation about memory care and things like that. So we thought that would be our topic for the month of July here, and that's what we did. We talked about, let's talk about living beyond your current home. And so this is all about helping you get your ducks in a row. And I want to introduce you to our speaker today. Her name is Debbie Beard. She has been a friend and a partner in the Helping Seniors nonprofit for many years now. Her experience is really pretty phenomenal. I'm going to brag on you for a minute, and you can correct me if I get some of this wrong. But not only does she have real estate agent experience for many years, and I heard a number like this, 4,500, 5,000 agents maybe in Brevard County alone?
4,200 last year.
4,200. So there's a lot of real estate agents to talk to and think about. But then there's a certain amount, there's always that 10% or 20% that gets 80% of the transactions done. And one of the reasons that Debbie is so effective, she has her own company called Next Chapter Real Estate, but her background is pretty impressive because she comes out of the background. This is why she's so appropriate to talk about this. She comes out of the background of having been an administrator and an executive director for assisted living, skilled nursing facilities. So she has all the kind of the clinical background to talk about this topic, but then also has all the background and experience of a real estate agent, licensed real estate agent, has taken it to the next level by adding the senior real estate specialist designation, which helps us to think about things that might be different than when we were buying a home when we were in our 30s or 40s. And so with that, it's my pleasure to introduce Debbie Beard. Come on up.
Well, thank you, Kerry, for that wonderful introduction. Yes, I am also a licensed nursing home administrator, like Kerry had mentioned. Own my company here, Next Chapter Real Estate. And it actually developed out of a need when I was actually working as an executive director, because I kept seeing the same theme scenario happen where maybe someone had a crisis, they were at the hospital, they were supposed to possibly go home with home health. Well, maybe whatever had happened is more serious than they originally thought, and that's not going to be a safe option anymore. So now all of a sudden, they need to maybe move to an assisted living or a nursing home, or something's changed. So where they thought they were going is a 180 direction, and so now they're kind of in crisis mode. Or I had the other situations that would come up a lot where someone would say, well, I think we're ready to downsize. You know, this is my parents. You know, I live up north. I came down to see them. I'm going to be here for a few days. But I don't know where to begin. They have so much stuff. I don't know what's a good place to live, where to go. Plus to figure out what we're going to do with 30 years of stuff and downsize and what furniture is going to fit. And so I kept seeing this over and over and over. And I thought, you know, there's really a void in the real estate industry that's not being filled because, as you know, there's 10,000 people per day in America, 10,000 turning 65. So that's a big number, and it continues to grow every day. And without a way for seniors, when it's time to downsize, to be able to make one phone call where they can actually then list their home, understand what options are out there for senior living, help coordinate an estate sale, the movers, the packing, what furniture fits, you know, in your new location. To be able to make one phone call and have all that coordinated and organized from you is much better than trying to figure out how to do that all on your own and know who's reputable, who's not reputable. I mean, it's an overwhelming process. And then to add that to a senior, and as you know, as you get older, things become more complex. It's why most of us have a primary care physician, and as our needs get older, we may now have a cardiologist or a dermatologist, someone that specializes in a certain area. Well, that is exactly what a senior real estate person is. They're above and beyond the regular realtor, where they've taken these additional things to make sure, I mean, we don't practice law, anything like that, but we are able to look out for things that people just take automatically, such as you think, okay, well, I'm going to move into a place and all this money, because you know from the IRS standpoint that if I've lived there for 2 years out of the last 5, and it's my primary residence and we have a spouse, well, $500,000 of it's mine and it's tax-free. Well, that's because it's homestead. But now let's pretend you all of a sudden need medical help. Well, there's a look-back period of 5 years for Medicaid and VA in attendance now. So now all of a sudden, if you sell that, that could be now an asset. So now it's not your money anymore. So we really want to make sure all those things are put in place before you downsize and make a move, because the last thing we want is you think you're doing the right thing, and then fast forward, you find out you did the very wrong thing. So that's just a highlight. I mean, like we talked about, this is a very short, kind of a 10,000 feet course of the different options, but just want to kind of give you some highlights of things that I do look at. Here are some of the reasons, you know, some people decide, oh, maybe it's time to move. I mean, well, they're sick of the yard work, they're sick of upkeeping. Why am I always cooking? Especially if you're only cooking for one person, you have all the leftovers. How many times can you eat spaghetti over and over and over? You know, I mean, it's only so good. And maybe the house is too big, you don't go to half the house anymore. Or your spare bedrooms now have become extended closets, because as you buy stuff, the closets are already full, the drawers are already full, the cupboards are already full. So now the guest bedrooms become a new version of a closet, because the closet inside of that's already full. Anyone, does that sound familiar to anyone? Most people are raising their hand, yes. And so then you start going, okay, I do want to maybe move, but what the heck? Look at all this stuff. What the heck am I going to do? Where do I begin? So that's another aspect of where I come in as a senior real estate, because you need to have a customized plan for your situation. Like I hear a lot of times, they'll say, well, what's your marketing plan? And it's this custom cookie cutter marketing plan. And to me, there's no such thing, because every one of you watching and in the audience has a different situation. Your situation's different, what you need is different, where your house is located, what upgrades it have. Everything is completely different for every single one of you. So I guess I disagree with just a custom marketing plan, because we need to look at what's best for you, for your house, to get the most money for you in the short period of time and make this whole process as stress-free as possible. How does that sound?
This is so fun.
I agree. You know, I've always been a big fan of fresh air and sunshine.
Looks perfect again, Dad.
I've always loved making people smile.
I've always found people fascinating.
I've always liked having lots to do.
I've always liked having time to relax.
I always like working with my hands.
I've always loved going my own way.
You know who you are. You know what you love. Find the place you fit perfectly. Learn more about your senior living options at whereyouLiveMatters.org. Where You Live Matters is a free consumer education website offering unbiased information about senior living.
The reason I wanted to play that is because, like we just talked about, a marketing plan where each is individualized. Same with your likes and dislikes and things in your interests. So how many people know just in Brevard there's 140 plus places that are considered senior living? I mean, people think they see the larger ones, like here we are at Zon, but there's also many smaller group homes. There is 55 or 62 plus apartments that are affordable housing type communities out there. There's 55 plus communities that mainly are single family homes or may have townhomes where you're still independent, but everyone that lives there, it's an age restricted community. And then there's things such as assisted livings, there's independent livings, so there's a full gamut. And so once you make the decision to say, hey, I think I maybe want to move out of this big house because I don't go into half of it anyways, and I'm sick of calling people to fix things and all that good stuff. But where do you begin? I mean, there's 140 some just in Brevard, and they're from all areas of the spectrum, from a small apartment to a big, huge house in a gated community. So that's another place where I come in, because we can have those discussions, and it's always a free consultation about kind of what you're looking for, what you're not looking for, your interest level, and help guide you to those kind of things as well. So it really goes beyond just selling the home, because I really want people to feel very comfortable when they're making such an important decision. Because I find sometimes that people are making more decisions and looking more at pictures when they go on a cruise than they do where they're going to move when it comes time for senior housing. And I think, well, maybe we should put a little more time into where you're going to move versus the 7-day cruise. This first one I have, this is affordable housing. Some of you may know about it. It's up on Babcock Street. It's called Crane Creek. Just to kind of give you an idea what the grounds look like, the apartments, they're very, very nice. Affordable housing, there's not enough to go around by any stretch of the imagination. I really wish we had more options, but right now we don't. So the waiting list is very long. I mean, easily 18 months to even have an apartment or longer. So that's one of those things, if you and I have a conversation and that's maybe the direction you need to go, I would say get on the list now, because maybe it's not time for you to go or move to a place like that. But if the time comes, you want to be ready, because what are you going to do? Let's pretend it's time now, but you got 2 years to wait. You're kind of in a bad boat. So I wanted to show that. There's more than just Crane Creek. There's Trinity Towers. There's multiple ones around here. But this is just to give you, like I said, a 10,000 view of all the different things that are out here. This one here, this is out in West Melbourne. This is called Compass Point. Fantastic community. I've sold and listed many communities out there. It's a very nice gated community, very active social life. They're all single family homes there. There's Heritage Isles in Viera. I'm sure some of you have heard of Heritage Isles. They're the same kind of thing where you're not going to get any additional services, so you truly are independent. You're still having to do all your cooking and your cleaning and those kind of things. So if that really doesn't accomplish what you're trying to do, then that wouldn't be the best option, but I like to let people know about that. This next one here, this is Sonata East, which is over in Viera. We could be on this for 8 hours if we talk about all the communities, but I'm trying to give just a highlight. As you can see, it's on the left is a typical apartment. So I mean, they're gorgeous. I mean, it's gorgeous, stainless steel appliances and granite, and the benefit of moving into an assisted living, independent living, 55 plus community is all the things that we love, like cleaning, dusting, vacuuming. All that stuff's done for you. Basic house cleaning, linen services complete. All your meals are chef prepared, which is a case in a lot of these communities. They have chefs, and they have all kinds of culinary events and activities. So you need to go to the exercise room in all these because you all get fat if you just go and eat all the food that's provided, because it's fantastic. So I wanted to show you that. This is their pool area, and then the main lobby. This one here is the Fountains of Melbourne. And the reason I'm trying to show different ones is because a lot of times the first thing that comes to people when you say assisted living or community, they think nursing home. And that is farthest from the truth as far as what this is. No one plans to go to a nursing home, to be very honest. That is when you need 24-hour nursing care. That's what that's for. It's not to go and retire. It's when health conditions or all other options aren't an option anymore. And even in our places like the Sonatas, the Fountains here at Zon, you can really age in place in these communities, because as you go from independent and maybe now you need help maybe with some dressing or some managing your medications so you're not taking Tuesday and Thursdays meds on Wednesdays, which is going to cause you to fall, just so you know. Those kind of things, they help you with. So if maybe dressing's a little hard for you now, or maybe just basic, maybe moving around is kind of a little bit more difficult, so maybe there's some therapy you need. Most all have therapy departments in where you can really get some good therapy and balancing, gait help. This is just to show you, again, the grounds at the Fountains. The bottom left is one of their apartments. Huge, beautiful dining room like they most have, chef-prepared meals. And I guess another reason I'm showing you the different varieties is because I'm really encouraging you to go and take tours. Not that means you're going to move in next week, because a lot of people feel that if they call these places, they're going to be on this list where their phone's ringing constantly, and it's this high sales, timeshare kind of traumatic event, and that's not the case at all. Moving into an independent living, assisted living is month to month. So you're paying a one-time community fee, and then you pay monthly. So it's a monthly rent, and if you go, this really wasn't what I thought it was going to be after you're there for a while, you just give notice and leave. So you're not trapped to have to stay there. People think if they move into communities like this, oh, I can't go places. You still have your car. You still go places. You still do all kinds of things. If you don't have a car, that's fine. They have buses, and some even have they look like little limousine kind of things. And I mean, they take you to grocery stores and your doctors and shopping, and they go to all kinds of luncheons with people or musical events. So it brings a lot of the things maybe that some of you through the years have kind of put off your list just because maybe driving isn't as fun as it used to be, or maybe when it's dark outside, that's really not, you don't want to get stuck somewhere, maybe the weather's going to be iffy. So then you just choose to stay home instead. where now all those things that maybe you kind of put on the back burner that you used to enjoy, maybe playing cards or dancing or listening to music or having, listening to theater, whatever it was, all those things are options again now that you move to a senior living community. And that's why I encourage all of you, go and take a couple tours. It doesn't have to be one place. It doesn't say because you went and took a tour, had some lunch, kind of seen what was out there, that now you have to live there. But what a great way for down the road when you think, maybe now I'm going to really look into it. You already have some ideas of what you like or don't like, versus waiting for it's a time where maybe a crisis has happened. Now you have no choice. You need to move somewhere. Because you should really be in the driver's seat. And when you're in a crisis mode, you've kind of put yourself in the back seat or the passenger seat, because now things have to be made in a hurry. And why do that? Because it's like living on a cruise that goes nowhere. Who the heck don't want to live on a cruise that goes nowhere? You get to eat and entertain, and I mean, it's fabulous. I mean, it's really as quick as they build these communities, there's usually a waiting list. And there's a reason for that. The reason they fill up so quick and there's a waiting list is because people like them. They kind of fight tooth and nail a little bit. I don't know, I like my house, I've been here forever. Because it's the unknown. It's the fear of the unknown, because they know what they have at the house, even though right now maybe it's not optimal anymore because they're sick of the yard work or the, having people come in or the handyman. So it's the known why they stay. Maybe not because it's really the best and they're having the optimal time that they could be having. It's because it's the known. But what happens is when people move in to these communities, what I always hear about 2 months in the beginning, they kind of analyze every little thing about, I don't know, they did, they kind of try not to like it. It's like they try to resist. But then what happens after about 2 months, 99% people all say the same thing. I wish I would have moved in sooner. Why did I stay home so long and be bored? And the other part about living in these communities, people think, well, people are just going to be coming in and out of my apartment. No, it's just like your house. People have to knock on the door. If you go down the hallway here, you'll notice the doors are locked because it's their house. It's where they live. You have to knock to go in, just like someone would at your front door. If you choose to be a social butterfly, you can go to every activity they have. But if you choose to sit home and twiddle your fingers, you can do that too, or anything in the middle. So that doesn't change. If you just want to sit, you can sit. If you want to get involved, you can. Or like the one part of the video where the wife wants to go out and about, but the husband's like, I'd just rather sit and relax. Perfect. She can go out and do her thing. You can stay home. So now everyone gets along better. This is where we are now. This is Zon Beachside. Again, it just shows they have, just delicious, wonderful chef-prepared meals, all kinds of entertainment and fun. This is one of the residents here. They have chair height gardening. So if you want to do gardening and maybe you couldn't do it anymore at the house because, once you got down on your knees, you may be there a while because maybe you can't get back up. But here you can actually have your own little flower garden or herb garden and just enjoy those things. Many, many different events. This right here actually is this July at Zon's activity calendar. I don't know how many of you can read it from a distance, but as you can see, from 9 in the morning till 6 at night, besides the 3 meals, there's all this stuff to do. So if anyone's bored in these communities, I can't help you. Because there's just so much to do. I mean, there's all kinds of activities, exercise programs, entertainment, theater. They have upstairs, they have a theater, fantastic with the nice recliners, and it's wonderful. So I guess my point is this is a very similar calendar that you would find in most of these communities. So this isn't just for here and everyone else doesn't have one. This is a typical senior living type community to show how active you can be if you choose. This one, a lot of people don't realize, they only see the great big communities, the ones like here or the Fountains or Sonatas, the great big ones you drive by. But people don't realize throughout Brevard, there are small homes that may have 4 to 8 people that live there. So maybe you and your husband or you and yourself, by yourself, have your own bedroom. Some have their own bathroom as well. But then the kitchen and the living room, the front porch, back porch, those are the common areas. So everyone has their own space, but then the common areas are for everyone. And that also includes they have live-in help. So there's still someone there that does the cooking, does the cleaning, is there if you need it for medical things to help with medications, if you have maybe some other medical issues that you need help with. So that's just an example, and they're everywhere. Because some people may not feel comfortable in a big place. That may not be their personality. They maybe rather live in a small, home like this. They still have the same license and requirements just like the larger ones do, so that part doesn't change. They're still licensed by the state of Florida with the same regulations. And this just kind of gives you an idea. They're making some crafts for the holidays. They're outside doing something. This one, actually, they have a pool. I know the owner, Megan, very well. They actually brought in some farm animals. They have pet ducks there now. They have a butterfly garden. So, they have a lot of fun there. So, and I guess I wanted to bring this to people's attention because there's probably 70 easily just in Brevard of this type of assisted living where you could really enjoy that comforts of a small home but have the help that maybe you need. Okay, so you're ready to downsize. I've convinced you. Okay, you're out of here. You're out of your house, you want to move. But now what? Where are you going to begin? You have all this stuff. You start opening drawers and cupboards, and you're like, there's too much stuff in here. I'm going to go sit down and watch Price is Right. So then what happens is you come up with that same idea maybe in 6 months, and you go through that same ritual. You go open closet drawers, and you maybe take a couple boxes and get a couple things out, and then it's like, I'm tired, and you go sit back down again. So to get you off the Ferris wheel or the merry-go-round, whatever we want to call it, that would be another part of why a senior real estate person comes in. Because the left is kind of what happens when someone decides they want to move. They make a list. Okay, I'll have my daughter do this. I got to get some packing materials. I got to figure out what movers to use. I got to find people that are going to come and donate and pick up, and who can come and pick up big stuff, and are they accepting donations anymore? Who's going to then have the estate sale if I decide to sell stuff? And then if I pack, what's going to fit in my new house? It's just like your mind starts spinning. So you could do all that, or you can call me, whichever you prefer. And the reason that we can do this is because, let's say you've lived in the house 30 years, so now you're going to be doing this once every 30 years. So you may not have as much practice as something that does that for a living every day. So we can come in and we can really look at stuff and come up with a game plan. And you're still the boss. You're the supervisor. I work for you. So you tell me how much help you want or don't want. And I will say a lot of people decide in the beginning, oh, we can do the packing and sorting and going through stuff. I just need help moving and stuff. So I just nod and smile and say, okay. So about 2 weeks later, I ask how it's going, and they say, I have a lot of stuff, which I already knew that answer, but I think sometimes people need to discover those things on their own, because that way I can say, well, how about if we have A, B, and C, and we have these persons help you with this. I recommend I use little things, like I'll use different color sticky notes. One is for sure I want it. One is the kids will want it. One I want to take with. So you can kind of, at least while you're going through, get an idea of where you're at with stuff. And I recommend you talk to any family, friends that you think wants your stuff. Because people are always thinking that the kids want the china set or they want the curio cabinet. They don't want it. And one of the reasons they don't want your china is because they can't put it in the microwave or the dishwasher. So it's not convenient for them. So I just think it's nice to have an honest conversation with kids and family members before it's that time, because why not let them enjoy it now? Why wait? Because or else everything's to the last minute, and that doesn't make a lot of sense either. So this just kind of gives you an idea of, we sit down and really will coordinate all those things. And before we're making a decision even where you're going, you may know you want to move, but you just don't know where yet. But that still doesn't stop us having to look at all those things because you still can't take all that with you regardless. So a lot of times people say, well, when should I call you? And I'm like, realistically, like 6 months before you even think about wanting to leave. And they'll say, really? And yes. And I said, the reason being is because why are we rushing it? We don't need to rush it. Let's make it organized. Let's make it as stress-free as possible. And let's really have a plan that makes sense for everyone. And that way you don't feel overwhelmed and you don't feel like there's too much going on at the same time. Because I know when I make appointments, if there's a doctor's appointment on that same day, I can't come over because that's the whole day. So I know those things. So 6 months seems like a long time, but when you start adding different other things going on in your life, it's really not. It goes very quickly as you realize we're almost the end of July already. So the other thing I wanted to bring up is a lot of times people don't know, like, okay, I got my house to sell, but maybe I was a veteran during active time of war, so maybe there's VA and attendance money that I could use towards paying for senior care, or maybe I have a long-term care policy, and I don't know, do I have one? Do I not have one? Maybe I have insurance policy that would cover it. I've partnered with a company called Second Act, and what they do is they specialize only with seniors. And so when you get on the phone and you speak with someone, you're not going to get then transferred to this person, to that person, to that person, and then if you call again, you have to start the process all over. They only work with seniors, and they do bridge loans for while you're waiting for these certain things, such as if you're waiting for VA in attendance because you were in the military. And sometimes now that's taking 6 months to get the money, but once you apply, you get the back money too. Let's say you'd love to move now because maybe you just don't want to be around and be involved when people are coming to look at your house before it gets sold, or maybe for health reasons it's not safe to be there anymore. We can utilize that money then to move into a community, get what furniture you like, get yourself all set up, then we worry about selling the house, because that way you're not in the scene of boxes and bags and people coming and going, and it's really a nice quieter way to transition, to be honest. There's no obligation, it's free to contact them. Any of you that have signed up today, I'll be happy to email you this PowerPoint. That way you can have all the different information. Anytime I come over to anyone's house, or if you don't want me to come to your house, you want to meet somewhere else, I'm happy to do so. But usually it makes sense for me to meet at your house because then we can really get a picture of what's going on. I talked about the Post-it notes to kind of figure out what you like and want to keep. The other thing I use is good old-fashioned, the blue painter's tape, so you don't get stuff on your trim. Well, if let's say you decide you want to move to X community or X, and you get the little layout of what size all the rooms are and stuff. Well, I feel it's a good way because it's hard to imagine what let's say your bedroom's 15 by 15, but now it's going to be 8 by 12. Well, what the heck's going to fit in that? So I like to take your existing rooms and I shrink them. And I shrink them with the painter's tape. Because now this is your new living room. What's going to fit? And then we consider where windows are. So that way you're kind of getting your own visual, because you may think I want A, B, C, and D as my furniture, but then you realize what space you have, and you're like, oh, well, I forgot about this, and this was my grandmother's, and that has to come with me. So it's just a way that we can really space the new place ahead of time. So it's just little tricks of the trade that after a few hundred homes, you kind of improve on things each time. Someone will ask me, I've had one of the questions, they'll say, well, what do you charge to coordinate all this stuff? Because that's a lot of stuff to charge. As a senior real estate person, we feel it's really the right thing to do. We do not charge any extra to coordinate all those things for you. We get paid the same way any other realtor would get paid, and that's at closing. So once the home is sold, we get paid commission just like anyone else. All those other aspects, that's just the right thing to do if you're going to serve seniors. So we do not get paid for that. If someone's looking at senior living options and doesn't know where to go, you can call us for that. We can help you figure out a place to go. And that is always free. It's always free to families and to seniors. Some of the communities, they'll pay if there's, a fee involved, but that's never, ever a charge for seniors or their families. So I just want to let you know those are good things, so when you think, okay, well, this all sounds fabulous, but how much is the check going to be? I want to let you know that there is no charge for coordinating all that. So why settle for just listing your home and you figuring all this other stuff out, where you can have the convenience of really having it coordinated in a stress-free manner for you and help you find the place that you'd like to live. I mean, it makes sense, and I've seen it both directions, and believe me, it's a lot less stressful this way. I think that's everything. It is. Do you have anything, any questions from anyone in the audience here? They vary. Some of the communities are 4,000, 4,500. There's smaller ones that may be 3. They're all different, and that depends on the size. And then also, you may start out where you're completely independent, where you don't need an additional maybe med techs to help with medications or help with dressing or those kind of things. Well, then as your health care changes, you can add services. They're called activities of daily living. So it could be dressing, eating, bathing, like all those different things that may change over the course of time. And each community then will do an assessment periodically to see if maybe your needs have changed. So you have that, and then also if you want to also have home health come in on top of it, you have those options. So there's just a lot of really good options out there, and that's why I feel everything is so individualized. It's not cookie cuttered. Yes? Is there anything like that in Brevard? Great question. Thank you for asking that. Yes, there's actually quite a few communities around here that they're called aging in place for that very thing. So maybe the couple starts out both as independent and they live in a house or apartment or something like that, and then one person's health needs maybe change dramatically, like you said, maybe memory care. A lot of them then actually have memory care units in the same community. So that spouse then that needs the additional memory care can then move to that section, and they're a locked unit because for safety reasons we don't want someone wandering. But then it allows you to be right there so you can visit when you want to. I mean, it's just you're still right there with them. Yes, there is an additional fee as people's health care needs for memory care, or even if you're in assisted living and your health care needs get more chronic. Yes, it'll change. It changes accordingly. But yes, they assess that. It goes up. It goes up, and it goes up according to what you need, so that way you're only paying for what you need and not paying for what you don't need. But yes, there's multiple communities in the area. I would say most of our communities have went that direction because it's more holistic living. They want, they focus on balanced diets, good food. That, people are starting to realize that good food is medicine for your body. People realize that. Are starting to realize that, thank goodness. And like up here where it says Zon 360 program, they have it's called a Zon Mind diet, and what that is, it's based on science, and it's types of food that actually help with memory, neuroplasticity, like those type of things. So I mean, it's been researched, and some of the other larger facilities also have that same thing where it's not just chef prepared, but it's high in fat and cholesterol and sodium, a bunch of other good stuff. They actually have it's health based. So, and as you know, to eat healthy food, you want it to taste good as well, because or else you're not going to eat it. So yeah, so yes, that is a focus. I would say that's really changed in the last 5 or so years, where people understand that it's more than just a dining experience. It's really about health, longevity, quality of life. So yes, great question. There are some that have individual homes. There's 2, I want to say. 2 in the area comes right to my no. We have the Brenedy over in Vieira. That one is a month to month. And then we have a CCRC, which is a continuum care community, which is Buena Vista over on 192. That one is a buy-in. When you're a CCRC, you have to come there independently. I don't know what the buy-in is currently, but they're usually about $300,000. So it's but then that helps towards your future. You never have to worry about running out of money. So I mean, and then that's another thing. There's all kinds depending on your current situation. There's some communities that have Medicaid waiver programs. So let's say you start out in the beginning, you all pay privately to live in these communities, and then you're in a Medicaid waiver program community. and you start running out of money, well, you can apply then towards the Medicaid. So then once your money's run out, you can transfer over to this Medicaid help with the funding. So those are, I mean, there's so many intricate parts to all this. That's why it's really, I'm happy to talk to anyone about it, because that's like I'm going through a maze with a blindfold on. I want you to end up in a good spot. Well, I really appreciate coming here today. Like I said, if you've signed up today with an email, I'll be happy to send you over the PowerPoint. So if you have further individual questions, because sometimes I know people don't like to talk about what they want to say with a bunch of groups, so I understand that. So don't hesitate, and there's no silly questions. You can call me, email me, the phone number that's on the PowerPoint. That's actually my cell number, so it's not some number that goes wherever. It's my cell number, so it comes right to me. So I appreciate everyone, and you guys have a great week, and I think you all took the first steps by attending. So you can go talk about this stuff, and I hope you all take a couple of tours of some communities around here. All right.
Thank you, Debbie. We were joking at the start of this that we've called our theme for helping seniors this year, getting your ducks in a row. And the thing that we've already started talking about for next year is to title this, Don't Try This on Your Own. Because there are so many nuances and things, and for all of us, aging is on the job training. There's no way we can know even the right questions to ask, but you can benefit from the wisdom of somebody who number one, has a good spirit, good heart about wanting to be sure they're helping you for the right reasons, but also has the professional expertise to know how to help navigate. So I was just going to ask Nancy to come up. We got about 3 minutes left. Nancy is our operations director, comes to us with 33 years registered nurse experience, and I just wanted to, just for like a minute, for you to talk about why it's so important to not try this stuff on your own.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. Why to not try this on your own is because none of us know everything about everything. And my big mantra that I say all the time to Kerry is, how do you know what you don't know? And the answer is you don't. So in part, Helping Seniors of Brevard exists to help you find that information. We are connected to good folks like Debbie Beard. So I don't know everything and I answer our, senior helpline. But I know people who know. So based on what your question is, what your situation is, our goal is to connect you with resources, referrals if necessary, to connect you with those businesses and organizations out there that you need to talk to. We get calls all the time. Some of it is for other businesses, for-profit businesses. Someone just wants a trusted handyman. Who do you trust out there? Who won't rip you off? Other calls are people who are facing homelessness, quite frankly. People who can't afford their rent anymore because rents have gone so high. So our phone calls run the gamut. No question is too small. No situation is too large. I always stress we're not emergency or urgent helpline. But there is no question too big or too small. So if you need us, please feel free to reach out. And thank you for being here today. This is the first step. Knowledge is power, and you're here to educate yourself. And to Debbie's point, the time to educate yourself is when there's not a crisis. So thank you for being here. And we can be reached at 321-473-7770. If you get our voicemail, it means I'm on the phone helping someone. I will always call you back. Thank you, Kerry.
Thank you, Nancy. And when we break out of the meeting here in just a minute, please take advantage of the expertise. One of the things that is so important about this, we talk about it, don't try this on your own, but as you hear, the heart of the people that's involved is to help you find a good solution. I want to give a thank you to Zon Beachside here. We're talking about excellent assisted livings, and they want people to be able to do exactly what Debbie is talking about, that you don't have to move. You can, if your needs change, they got a way to manage that all here. So with that, I want to thank you again. See you guys later. Bye-bye.